Welcome to the Let's Talk Paralegal podcast, where the legal industry gets real. I'm your host, Eda Rosa, legal consultant, speaker, and founder of Eda Rosa LLC and the Limitless Paralegal Academy. This isn't your stuffy legal studies school lecture. We're talking mindset, money, modern workflows, and how to build a career and a life you don't need a vacation from. Let's cut the fluff, raise the bar, and change the game one conversation at a time. If you like what you hear, feel free to share and send us your feedback. Now let's talk paralegal. In this episode, we're going behind the scenes of the Limitless Paralegal Academy, where innovation meets education. I'm joined by our powerhouse instructors, sharing how they're shaping the future of legal work, from AI, legal tech, client excellence, attorney collaboration, and my personal favorite, branding. This isn't just a peek inside the academy, it's a glimpse into where the legal industry is headed. Listen in for more. Welcome to the Let's Talk Paralegal. I'm your host, Eda, and I'm super excited about this episode. If you can't see my beautiful smile, here it is. I am very excited. I have a few of my instructors of our Limitless Academy today, and I wanted you guys to learn about them as the human versus the skills and education, because we are all about humanizing the legal industry. That is our mission since 2017 and for future. So without further ado, I want to introduce you to our amazing, beautiful, smart, whatever you guys want to describe yourselves, but I think you guys are powerhouses. That's really probably the best word for it, because you guys are amazing on and off stages and on and off the mic. And so I want you to go one by one. So let's do this, and then you guys choose, raise your hands, like a student. We're here like in college, no pun intended. But I want you guys to kind of introduce yourself to the audience, let them know who you are, what got you here, to this moment, and really the journey that transpired while creating these courses for the Academy. Anybody? Okay. Emily. I'm going to just go with Emily.
Perfect. First, thank you so much for having me. So my name is Emily Barkowitz. Currently, I serve as the litigation support manager at Ackerman, which is an AmLaw 100 firm. Geez, I should know this right off the top of my head. It's been a long day already. Anyways, it's a national firm. We have presence across the United States, but I'm based in South Florida, conveniently located near Eda. And prior to stepping into this role, I was a litigation paralegal. For years and years. I've been at Ackerman for 20 years, and the first 14 years of my career, I was a busy paralegal. I started off as a baby junior paralegal coming in fresh, and climbed the ranks and ended up becoming the lead paralegal in a really busy practice where we focused on products liability defense work, mass torts, MDL litigation, big stuff. And with big stuff comes big data and big amounts of documents. And it was the height of my paralegal journey was kind of this mad rush to move into a very digital world and really put paper behind us. And that included in the discovery process. And so I learned a ton about e-discovery. And I had ushered in the first e-discovery review tool for my team. Prior to that, we were literally cataloging emails on Excel spreadsheets and hyperlinking them within the DMS. And I was given that project, and I got to line 20,000 of an Excel. And I was like, this is ending today. We're going to step into the 21st century. So I got knee deep in e-discovery, and I fell in love with it. I've always had a interest in tech and gadgets and efficiencies and using technology to create efficiencies. One of my mottos is work smarter, not harder. And so I was really big in encouraging our litigation group to embrace this idea of creating efficiencies through e-discovery. And I feel like today it's not even about efficiencies. It's like, this is how you have to do it to be able to respond to discovery, completely, because it's not just about the words on the paper. It's the history behind that quote unquote paper, that email, who touched it, how many times was the document revised, all of this stuff. So that's become my passion. And now with the dawn of AI, like just working its way into every single aspect of our life. Every time I fire up Google, there's a new AI like feature, and or every time I open up even just Microsoft Word, there's some new feature. My focus has really shifted in that direction. And so I'm super excited to share my thoughts and my insights about how AI is shaping the legal world, and how paralegals especially are so well positioned to be the experts in AI implementation in the legal process. But it does have to be done thoughtfully and ethically. And so those are the other topics that I want to cover, is like, it's new and exciting, and don't be afraid of it, and embrace it and jump right in, but jump in smart. Like, don't do something crazy. So I kind of break down like the do's and don'ts of using AI in a professional realm. In your personal realm, go wild, test it out and see how it can like improve your life, right? Or not necessarily improve your life, but make the day-to-day like minutia easier to manage. But from a professional standpoint, there are some guardrails that have to be put into place, and you have to be aware of those, and not being aware of those can really put you in a bad position. So I'm very excited to bring all my thoughts about that to people. And I'm very excited to engage with the students once the course is available, and hear feedback, and, just kind of continue the conversation post course.
And if you haven't gathered, she is our AI legal technology instructor, and that is one of our most highly anticipated courses. We actually have about, last time I checked, 35 to 40 students on the waiting list for that particular course. So Awesome. You're going to be very busy. I've had the honor to look at a little sneak peek of the course so far, and I think it's, personally, I even learned. So thank you so much for your insight. And so I'm going to go in the order that you guys are on my screen. So let's go with Chelsea next. And I want you guys to kind of guess what she's going to do on our academy, but then of course I'll announce it later. So go ahead, Chelsea.
Okay. Hi, thank you for having me on. It's so nice to connect with you again, and also meet you guys, the faces of, the other courses that are going to be created. So I'm excited to see what you guys create. It's been an honor to be a part of this. So I'm really excited to see it roll out. I'm Chelsea. I feel like me saying what I do for a living is going to give it away, but so I'll say it. But I'm a social media manager for lawyers. So I have my own social media agency, Chelsea and Media. And I've been working with lawyers, kind of came across it by accident in a sense. I've been doing social media for almost 6 years now. And I was working with various industries, ended up connecting with a lawyer who had just started her own firm, was looking for social media help. Still work with her to this day. So we've been going on almost 5 years now together. And it kind of started as word of mouth from there. Like, she started referring me to other lawyers, and before I knew it, all my clients were lawyers. So I specialize in that. That is my niche. That's my specialty, and what I love to educate other legal professionals, paralegals, lawyers, law firm owners, anyone when it comes to social media marketing. Prior to the social media, I was doing some internships, and I actually was doing blogging for some time. So I started my own blog, and I was like playing around with social media, and that's where the interest grew to explore that more. So I absolutely love what I do for a living. And yeah, I guess I don't know where to go from there. I guess that's what I do.
Personal branding. That's what we're doing with the course. Another anticipated. So I want you guys to know we were super intentional in creating the topics, and welcome Kelly to the stage. Yay. I'm so excited she was able to join us. If you guys didn't notice, I added her in the mid conversation. But anyways, I want you guys to know that we did a lot of research. We did 3 years of research. We did solo and what do you call those? Like peer space, testing, and we questioned senior paralegals and entry level paralegals, and we really did more like I am a sociologist at heart because that is my undergrad degree, and I love to study people. So this was my little experiment of what can I create in order to really move the torch forward with our paralegals, our legal professionals and support staff, and everybody that assists the legal industry on their backs. And it wasn't just paralegals. We did receptionists, we did paralegal students, we did everything that you can think about. We really made it a point to include, or at least give that inclusion to everyone. So it was very helpful. We even included some lawyers to kind of see what they are looking for their paralegals. And so this was a very thought out 3-year journey. And I'm just excited that it's finally, I'm giving birth to my other baby. This is my 3rd baby. So I'm super excited. But without further ado, I do want to introduce Christine, which has been super quiet. And you'll see why I'm very concerned in like 2 seconds. So go for it, girl. Let it all out.
Thank you, Eda. I'm so excited to be here. It's just a privilege and an honor to be part of this limitless crew that we've gathered here. I've interacted with Emily before through my local association here, Paralegal Association here in San Diego, California. So so she's been a featured guest.
Organization. Fabulous. They're doing amazing things out there. Yeah,
right.
Sure.
And they're building on skills that we're talking about today, that Eda's 3-year intensive research is really honing in on. So just by way of background, again, my name is Christine Custodio Suero, and my official title at my 9-to-5 job is Senior Paralegal and Business Development Director. A lot of words. What does that mean? Really? Because it's the doing part that matters. What do I do in my role? We keep our clients happy. We make sure that the lawyers are functional, and our mission and vision is for operational excellence, right? We want to make sure that we are a profitable company. Why? Because we want to sustain our business and maybe scale that business, right? So what are the pillars that uphold those thoughts, ideas, the vision, the mission that we have as ERISA attorneys? That's where I work. I work in a small ERISA law firm, and I have, like Emily, for 20 years. And what I love about the folks that are involved here in this limitless crew is we have a varied background. We have varied skill sets, and we come from different sizes of law firms or environments. And it's really neat. And you'll learn even from Kelly, like her background and experience on how she's, traversed her career over the past 20 some odd years. So I'm really loving that, you're bringing forward really critical, what we refer to now as durable skills, right? Sometimes referred to as soft skills. And what is that interplay with this? And here's my course, right? Here's my course: customer excellence and attorney partnership. What does that really mean? What are those key and foundational concepts that uphold those ideas or ideals for us in practice? So I'm excited to share the 20 years of experience, all of the, years and tears that I had to experience to get to where I am today. And hopefully that will be of benefit, of use for the students who access this course.
I always love your energy and I enjoy it so much. I saw you and Kelly a couple times on InfoTrack, which is our partners as well on the Limitless tour. So shout out to InfoTrack. Yes, I'm being paid. So hello. I love you, InfoTrack. Shout out to Veronica Williams, which is our connection. And she's always supporting everything Limitless. So shout out to you, love. We cannot thank you enough for all your support. And both Kelly and Christine have been on InfoTrack, and they just do amazing work, which is kind of why I reached out to them. Everything I do is very intentional. I handpick everybody. I personally have conversations with them. Kelly has been, and Emily have been long friends of mine in the network, and I couldn't think of anybody else better to really take the reins on this. So thank you so much, ladies, for agreeing to get on this crazy train. But I'm super excited to see what flourishes from here. And without further ado, Kelly, go for it, girl. Tell me who you are. Tell me you as a person. Well, not me. Tell the audience, because I know who you are. You're amazing. And I love this new journey for you. We're fellow yogis, so that's namaste for us. But yeah, definitely introduce yourself and introduce your inspiration behind the course. Hey Legal Pros, are you ready to stop playing small? The Limitless Paralegal Academy is officially open, offering powerhouse courses, real-world tools, and expert-led training to help you build the career and life you actually want. We're not stopping there. The Limitless Paralegal Tour is hitting the road. We're bringing the mindset shifts, career strategies, and community straight to your city with epic speakers, actionable sessions, and zero boring PowerPoints. This isn't your average CLE. This is your legal career reimagined. Join the Academy, meet us on tour, become the legal pro everyone remembers. Visit limitlessparalegalaacademy.com to enroll and grab your ticket now. Be bold, be brilliant, but most importantly, be limitless.
Awesome. Thanks, Eda or Eda. I say Eda all the time for some reason. And because I grew up with a woman named Eda with ETTA. And so I don't know what it is, but anyways, Eda, thank you for having me. It's an honor to be part of the Limitless crew. That term Limitless has been something that's been kind of a push on my boundaries my whole life. And as a paralegal, I think, we are often put into a box to operate under certain parameters. And I love that we're removing those boundaries. We're really emphasizing the fact that, this career path, it's limitless. It really is. The pathways are honestly limitless. So that being said, my pathway, my current position, I work for the Nevada Attorney General's office. I am what they consider a legal researcher there because of the way legislation is set up in Nevada. Paralegals aren't regulated, so legal researchers are what the state hires for the paralegal position. So I, as Christine had mentioned, I worked in big law for about 13, 14 years. And then I went to small law in California as a litigation paralegal. I've had a lot of different touches in different areas of law, generally complex business litigation, from environmental protection, super fun sites, all the way down to pro bono asylum assistance. So, a very wide range and diverse skill set that came out of that, which ended up rolling into becoming an instructor and a course designer for the University of Washington. They have a paralegal program. So I started on my teaching journey long before that, but really on the institutional level about 6 years ago. And so with that, I started to understand how important that human-centered design is when you come to processes and workflows, both in the legal setting, in the educational setting, and then in that setting that intersects the two of those, the two of those environments. And so really seeing where process design, and that's the course that I'm teaching. So it's a process design, process development, and legal operations course. So interestingly, working in the government setting, it parallels what Christine said on that sort of business acumen and legal operations side, from that business development and client relationship build. However, in the government setting, which is the public sector, is very different than the private sector when we talk about resources and, just in general support for our practice and processes and workflows. And a lot of us that have been career paralegals experience that resistance, for change within the law firm setting. And so that still exists in the public sector. But it looks very different. So changing operations over the course of many years, especially when you have legislative boundaries that sort of, put different restrictions on how you can impact and be a change maker in a system that is not designed to embrace change. So that's been really interesting here for me. But it's also given me a whole different perspective on what process design means and how that affects the operations within a legal team. Because working in the Attorney General's office, we're basically like the largest law firm of the state. And we have a lot of different divisions that operate very differently, but still operate as an extension of a law firm. So operationally, it's still very similar to a private law firm. However, the resources are wholly different. The modernization of anything is even, we literally are still presenting evidence at trial using PDFs, plugged into a projector kind of thing. So it's very, different. So that's what I bring. I bring this sort of varied scale of operational excellence. Like Christine said, I love that, legal services, client services, and we have to have it be this human-centered focus. No matter what innovations and tools come along on our path, we have to learn how to really center all of our services on the human that we are working with, whether that's attorneys or clients, right? So that's my bit.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. I love you girls. I just realized that there is no men representation here, and I did not do that on purpose. I swear, guys. We will definitely work on that for more, moving forward. We love you guys. I have great friends and colleagues in the legal industry that are part of the Limitless crew, and we are sure to include them. I promise. We're sure to include them in future adventures. But I wanted to bring these powerhouses on the stage quite literally, because we are streaming from StreamYard, and it always tells me add to stage. So I feel like we're on a literal stage, which I love. Most of you have been on other stages, which is amazing. I've seen you, I've heard you, NALA conferences, Ackerman's everywhere. Emily, I'm attending an event for Ackerman tomorrow. I think they're doing it in conjunction with FIU Law. So I'm an FIU Law student. So it's something about the Latina lawyers. But anyways, I digress. We'll talk about that off the stage. But anyways, I want to thank you girls for, again, joining me on this journey and these last few minutes that we have on the episode, because we can go for hours. I know I can, but I don't think that will be very helpful for the audience. And we don't want to give too much away, because we want them to ultimately get your course and learn more about you and what you guys bring to the table. So I'm going to give you about 5 minutes each. We can start the same way. So it would be Emily, Chelsea, Christine, and then Kelly. And I want you to talk about your journey in the creation, because for me, it was hard. I to compile all my years of experience and all my skills and everything into this one course. It was very hard for me to condense it. So Emily, go first.
I also had that issue at the beginning of thinking about what is it that I want to speak about. Well, first of all, I guess to kind of set the stage, Eda, you were so gracious to invite me to the Limitless Paralegal Conference to speak on a similar topic. So I kind of had that framework to start with, but I knew I wanted to expand it but also provide very specific advice on how to tackle specific elements within legal technology and AI. And so I did a lot of thinking about, what are the things I'm passionate about, because that's what I'm going to be able to express the best. I mean, this topic is so huge and you could go in so many different directions. So what are the elements I'm most passionate about that I could just speak off the top of my head on? And from there, I kind of, I started to work on an outline of key points to discuss. Side note, I may have used a little AI to help me in the development of my outline, right? Like feed the information, and then what am I missing? What are the points that I'm missing that would be helpful to paralegals looking to expand their knowledge in this area? So from there, it was just kind of a matter of honing the script, essentially, and ensuring that it's very clear that this is my viewpoint, because that's something I definitely want to express. I think when you've got ethical considerations, when you're discussing issues where there are ethical considerations, it's very, very important to stress, like, this is my opinion. This is my thoughts on this, because there are also rules, which I do discuss, federal rules, as they kind of guide people in technology and AI. But I wanted to ultimately create a course that felt like a conversation. And my demographic in my mind was like the paralegal in the early stages of their career, trying to, expand their knowledge and see where this career, which is a wonderful, wonderful career, how it can move into different directions. And I mean, all of you ladies are great proof of that it's not just you get a job as a paralegal working beside an attorney doing their research and prepping them for trial forever. There's lots of different directions that you can go in. I say that, it's always in my bio that, like, I'm very passionate about supporting non-traditional legal careers, and that you do not have to have a JD to be successful in this space. And so I'm hopeful that, I don't want to call myself successful, but I think I've had a fair number of successes, and I want to show people that this is a real career path, and it's a career path that you get the privilege of kind of designing it as you go, as opposed to maybe a traditional law school to law firm path. So that's the story of the evolution of the development of embracing the future, legal technology, and AI in the paralegal profession.
Love it. All right, Chelsea, you're next.
So I can relate a lot with what Emily said. I feel like for me, it was really important to keep the course conversational, as if I was talking to the person that's going to be walking through the course. I think for me, what I really loved was that basically, as a social media manager and strategist for lawyers, I wasn't like, I was more so like I had to take all the knowledge I already give to a client and then like figure out how to organize it. So that was the challenge, I think, just like taking the way that I would start working with somebody, going through their account, doing an audit, doing a competitive analysis, doing the strategy, and creating it into like a course format. So I think what's going to be really valuable for anyone that takes the social media and personal branding course is the fact that you are getting inside a brain of a social media strategist who has worked with lawyers and law firm owners for 5 years. Like, I'm taking basically how I would walk a client through that, but in a course format. So that was cool to see that kind of come to life in more of a course setting, because usually when I'm working with a client, I'm not delivering all that information up front. Like, that would be overwhelming if you just start working with someone and they tell you from A to Z, like, this is how you build a personal brand. This is the strategy you need to have. This is where you need to post. This is what we're going to create. Like, it's usually a journey, right? So it's usually step by step. We're working through things, but I'm just taking all that and putting it up front in this course. So I think it's really cool to see it in that way, and know that I'm taking, these 5 years working with lawyers who I haven't worked with a paralegal specifically. So I think that was also really great to be part of this opportunity, because I get that chance to speak to paralegals and, just anyone in the legal profession and show how you can apply these strategies that have helped lawyers that I work with that started their firms from scratch with social media, and show them how they can apply the same tools or resources into what direction they want to go in. There's no one size fits all. So I'm really excited to see what feedback comes from the course, results, transformation, and yeah, so that's how the personal branding and social media course came to life.
I just, I have to say this, if you guys don't watch our shorts or anything like that, you guys have to watch the faces of our instructors while they're talking about their course, because they have the biggest smile on their face. And then the other instructors around them are like, yes, queen, and this is really what the Limitless is all about. It's about support. It's about supporting each other. It's about being on each other's platforms and really bringing together a community and providing those voices. But okay, the loudest one in the room. Let's go, Christine. You got this.
Hey.
I meant that lovingly.
Maybe let's say enthusiastic. Let's go with that.
Okay, enthusiastic.
What I really love about what I'm hearing, because I'm jotting notes, always taking notes. I'm my father used to call me like the professional volunteer, but I like to say I'm like the professional student. I'm always learning something, even in a room like this, with these amazing professionals. I'm jotting down notes, right? Because I'm like, there's always something to learn and take away. And what I loved hearing from Emily was the architect, right? To own that, to own your career and your path forward, right? Mm-hmm. The only limit that will exist for your career is you, because you're going to become exactly who you decide to become, right? So I think what was really interesting in the development of my course and kind of going through that outlining process that both Emily and Chelsea shared, is exactly that. 20 years of experience. How do I do this brain dump into this, short course to get all of this information, right, that I've learned over all of this time? But that really made me sharpen my tools on one of the pillars that we focus on in this course, communication, right? What matters? What is important, right, to communicate so people have an understanding of what does this really mean in terms of customer and operational excellence? What does that look like in play, and how does that look in different environments that we might exist in, right? Because we are not always going to be in a law firm. We might be in a corporation or a company, or like in Kelly's, situation, I might be in a governmental agency or even a nonprofit. Right. So we have to really lean into those durable skills to be able to adapt, to be agile, to flex the skills that we've acquired along the way in adjacent roles, even if they're not specifically legal skills or legal roles. Right. Because when you think about it, at the end of the day, like Kelly said, what are we doing? Most of us are client facing. Many of us are client facing. So what does that look like in terms of their client experience? When I was really taking a keen eye at the content and the material for this course, I thought to myself, let me go back to some of the basics that I learned. When I was kind of coming up in the field, especially in business development, or what we would call legal operations for the law firm, right? What makes us operate? What makes us go? What makes us successful, profitable? And someone told me, and they said it just so succinctly: know, like, trust. And if you think about that and you apply that to every situation, right? Situational awareness, reputational awareness about how we exist with these clients, alongside these clients that are going through oftentimes very, very challenging, difficult situations. What does that look like for us in terms of skills that we must apply, right, in handling those types of situations, right? So again, it's that awareness piece. That's the thing with AI. I love AI. I use it almost every day, right? It's like my little mini me. It's my little assistant, right? But the thing is I'm the human in the center of it, right? Because at the end of the day, when we're serving clients, when we're helping clients, that's a person. That's a person you're dealing with. And what I love, I know what you shared about like your undergrad in sociology, Kelly and myself, because we do a lot of collaborations, right? We love that. That's the way forward of the world, right? Is collaborate, community, connect, cultivate those connections, right? And you can translate that into business success, because people that you are helping they feel seen, they feel valued, they feel like you are in their corner, right? You can apply that same mentality to the lawyers. They have a lot on their shoulders and a lot on their plate, right? Being the one in the front. Being, sometimes as paralegals and support professionals, we sometimes will operate in the background, not diminishing the importance in the modern day legal team, right? For those key players on that team. We are all rowing the boat together in the same direction, right? But when we think about how can I translate those skills necessary to have operational and client success into my strategic partnership and alliance with attorneys, the same basic foundational issues and concepts apply. The attorneys want to make sure that they too are protected, right, in the work that they are putting forward, that it is accurate, it is timely, it is within the rules, whatever rules apply to your particular case or situation. So the awareness piece, right, and understanding, what does that mean in terms of the big picture? What is my long view here, right? Because we can be, here's our short-term goals, but what does that look like for the long view? And one of the last concepts that I do bring forward in this course, and this is kind of aligned with what Kelly does so masterfully and beautifully in the work that she does, is that we must have self-awareness for the long game, right? And what does that look like? We need to be able to recognize our boundaries, right? What does burnout look like? And ultimately, what is a well-balanced career, right? Because I'm hoping that the folks, and I know the folks that are coming here, consuming our content, they are looking at this as a career, as a journey, as an adventure, right? Because here we are, no longer the days where we are just, one role and it's for 20 years and I get my pension and I'm retired, right? What does it look like now? It looks like we pivot, right? I took away what I did from this opportunity and I pivoted to this other role, right? That suits the strengths and skills as I grow and evolve, right? So we meet ourselves, right? We meet where we need to be, and then we also grow and evolve, just like the AI does, right? It's learning, it's iterating, we're using it to assist us to become excellent.
I love that. And you mentioned Kelly like 3 million times in your beautiful description. So Kelly, let's go for it.
Yes, thank you, Christine. Christine and I have a long history of, being each other's cheerleaders. We've been in the trenches for many years together, and now we work, in parallel trenches, communicating often. Like Christine said, we have to have those, sort of connections to keep us fueled. And so I appreciate, the support also, with Chelsea and Emily. I appreciate your unique perspective. And Eda, you have really created a crew here that, really unfolds some of the layers that many people out there don't know exist within this legal sphere, in the paralegal sphere as well. And so I'm really excited to be a part of this. And the design of the course was actually I think the big meaty part for me, because it was like Christine said, how do you siphon this? How do you narrow down these 20 years of experience and failures, to be valuable content for people, whether they're at the front end or the back end of their career, as well as those in between. And so for me, what I really did was look at, how we can look at the profession as a whole and moving beyond task doing, really more into that systems thinking, right? Still human centered, but systems thinking, and exploring different ways to identify where our bottlenecks are and where we are, encouraging systems that continue to feed burnout, right? Or feed that hustle culture, which in end is a work product failure, right? And in the end, we're not providing excellent customer service, whether that work product is serving the legal team we work within or the client, the paying client on the outside. So, legal operations and process design is much more than just looking at a procedural, rule. This comes into how the humans can operate in this space to make the ecosystem around us better for everybody that it's touching, right? And so I think the design process was really talking to those different individuals, talking to the students in my classes. Where are you seeing these pain points, right, in your processes and workflows that are currently existing? And then how can we learn to gracefully communicate and suggest improvement when a lot of times we're met with bureaucracy or politics or this hierarchy that has long existed in this space that we no longer are going to, resolve to just sit back and be pushed against, the limitless crew, right? Like we think about that, like we, all of us here on this stage, I love that you've done that, Eda. On this stage, we know there's not a ceiling here, right? And that's allowed us to explore all these different pathways that people are like, oh, you're a paralegal and you're doing what? You're interviewing Supreme Court justices in other states. Christine, this mastermind that I'm working with, this connector, she's a bridger of relationships across the board in this ecosystem. And the stakeholders that are really important to hear what they have to say, we're having those conversations, right? Eda, the same thing with you. You're having those conversations with the people that are driving the train here. And so we're gathering that intel to find out what the content needs to be. And so the legal operations and process design is really centered on what are the needs, what are our needs, what are my needs, what are your needs currently right now in the process of operating a legal team. So that's my blurb of the Limitless Crew process design.
I love you guys. You guys are, one, you're very well spoken, which I appreciate. I don't know if anybody else does. Two, you just know your stuff. And three, I think I did a great job. So I'm going to applaud myself because I think I did great. I'm always about the little small wins. And I really do. I want to say this, and I want to say this out loud where everybody can hear. It's like, I really do appreciate it because I know it takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of dedication to do what I've asked you to do. And I appreciate it, and I honestly, I appreciate you having faith in me because it takes a lot of trust, like Christine was talking about. And I appreciate you just jumping on my crazy mindset train because I have no doubt that this is not going to be successful. Like, it's going to be successful. And I know we're going to, change a lot of legal professionals' lives. And I'm just like, I'm really happy, I'm getting emotional now, but I'm very happy that this is happening and that you guys were very gracious to agree to this. So thank you so much, guys, for being on the podcast, for being part of my Limitless crew, for being speakers at my event. Thank you, Emily. I will definitely get you guys in the tour. So that's going to be a little bonus for everyone because we are traveling next year and we're taking the Limitless event on the road. So most of our instructors will be there if everything works out and everything aligns with itself. So you can meet them in person and you can come and see us on the tour. But yes, thank you so much. Until justice is served. Until next time. Bye, guys.